Eh bien bonjour, bien le bonsoir, chers aventuriers, et bienvenue sur cette nouvelle vidéo de Triangle Stratégie. Alors, normalement cette vidéo sortira après la fin de ma première aventure sur le jeu. Ces vidéos ont pour but de vous montrer la meilleure fin possible. Alors, ça va être simple, c'est que là en fait je vais reprendre le chapitre 17. La différence c'est que j'ai fait certains choix, donc il y a certains choix qu'il faut faire au début, pendant l'aventure, qui vont vous ouvrir une nouvelle voie en fait à partir du chapitre 17. Si vous êtes là, c'est que j'estime que vous avez vu au moins le chapitre 17, et effectivement, au chapitre 17, vous devez choisir parmi 3 routes différentes, donc qui vont déterminer la fin du jeu. Et donc, là, avec les choix qu'on a fait, donc je vous les mettrai en description, mais je vais vous expliquer un petit peu les choix qu'il faut faire. Normalement, j'ai une nouvelle route qui va s'ouvrir, donc je vais reprendre à partir du chapitre 17. Pour information, donc j'ai fait un New Game Plus, donc j'ai repris ma sauvegarde, ma première sauvegarde, et pour aller plus vite et me focaliser que sur les éléments que j'avais pas débloqués, j'ai baissé la difficulté, j'ai mis je crois en facile ou en très facile. Donc effectivement au niveau des combats il n'y aura pas grand chose, mais c'est surtout pour l'histoire qu'on le fait, parce que niveau combat on a fait globalement le tour je pense. Je vous laisserai découvrir, j'ai pas envie de tout vous montrer non plus si vous voulez faire les autres fins. Mais là je vais me focaliser sur la meilleure fin du jeu. Et donc pour ce fait, donc, vous trouverez les informations en description, mais je vais quand même les énumérer pour vous. Alors, pour avoir accès, alors ce qui est marrant c'est que quand j'ai vu ça, je me suis dit, en fait à 2 choix près, on aurait pu l'avoir. C'est malheureux, mais à 2 choix près on aurait pu l'avoir. Donc, ce qu'il faut faire, au chapitre 7, donc tout ce que vous faites avant le chapitre 7 n'a pas beaucoup d'importance. C'est à partir du chapitre 7 qu'il va falloir faire des choix importants. Donc au chapitre 7, vous avez le choix soit de rendre Roland à Icefrost, ou le défendre et donc protéger le château. Alors dans mon cas, j'avais protégé. L'erreur que j'ai faite, c'était d'utiliser les pièges donc, pour brûler les maisons. En fait, ce qu'il faut faire, donc, c'est pendant la phase d'investigation avant le combat, il faut effectivement parler au PNJ qui vous donne l'information qu'il y a une rumeur comme quoi il y aurait un mécanisme de défense. Et pendant la mission, et c'est pas forcément évident, c'est vrai que quand tu le fais une fois, c'est pas forcément évident, mais effectivement, il faut réussir le combat contre Avlora, l'assaut de Wolffort, sans utiliser les pièges. Ça, c'est le premier choix. Donc celui-là, il est un petit peu vicelard, c'est vrai. C'est pas forcément évident de ne pas utiliser les pièges, mais en tout cas, c'est ça le premier choix. Au chapitre 9, donc ça, c'est ce qu'on avait fait, il faut choisir d'aller livrer la contrebande. Donc Sorcier nous demande de livrer. On a le choix soit d'aller livrer, soit d'aller le dénoncer. Donc on avait fait le choix d'aller livrer. Donc ça dit, il faut aller livrer. Là où, ce qu'on n'avait pas fait au chapitre suivant, donc on rencontre Svarog, l'oncle de Frédérica, c'est qu'on avait gardé l'identité secrète de Roland. Ici, au chapitre 10, justement, il faut révéler l'identité de Roland. Comme ça, Svarog va vraiment vous faire confiance et potentiellement vous aidera pour la suite. Au chapitre suivant, donc chose importante, mais ça c'est ce qu'on avait fait. Au chapitre 11, donc il faut défendre le village Rozelliens. Et pendant la phase d'exploration, donc je crois qu'il est au chapitre 12, il faut effectivement trouver la pierre comme on a fait. Donc pour ça, il faut parler au doyen du village qui est dans la maison, parler à Bénédicte et Frédérica, je crois aussi. Et quand vous avez parlé au doyen, Frédérica va vous dire il faudrait réussir à le faire sortir, faire diversion pour trouver la pierre. Donc une fois que vous retournez parler au doyen, il va aller parler à Frédérica à l'extérieur, et pendant ce temps-là, vous allez récupérer la pierre du coup dans la maison. Donc ça c'est vraiment l'objet clé le plus important. Et le dernier choix, pour pouvoir débloquer la nouvelle voie, donc au chapitre 17, c'est au chapitre 15, et ça c'est ce qu'on avait fait, même si sur le coup on savait pas trop ce qu'on allait faire, mais effectivement au chapitre 15, il faut retourner justement à Wolffort, plutôt que de suivre Roland pour tuer les royalistes ou suivre Frédéric au village, donc il faut bien retourner à Wolffort, parce que je crois que justement en allant à Wolffort, voilà, on a l'information comme quoi, en fait on est censé être l'héritier du roi Régnier. Et donc là, c'est tous ces choix-là que je les ai faits dans ma partie New Game Plus. Et donc je me suis arrêté, là je suis de nouveau... Donc vous voyez, hein, j'avais 40 heures là en New Game Plus, sachant que j'ai passé les dialogues. Je suis à quasiment 8 heures de jeu, parce que je me suis amusé un petit peu à faire les quelques quêtes. Et là, en plus, sachant que je sais quelles sont mes convictions, je peux voir ce que ça donne, bah, j'ai débloqué des nouveaux persos, vous allez voir. D'ailleurs, il y a une petite surprise dans les persos. Et donc là, normalement, on reprend au chapitre 17. Et normalement, je dis bien normalement, il y a une nouvelle voie qui va s'ouvrir à nous. Donc c'est parti. La run, qui s'appelle Golden, c'est maintenant.
Deep in the grand Rozellian mines lay a most unexpected discovery. Crystals of pure salt. Now in possession of knowledge that could alter the course of history in Rozellia, the members of House Wolffort gather at Whiteholm Castle to discuss their next move.
Unexpected though it may be, the salt crystals are now ours. How shall we proceed?
Carefully, for it has the potential to alter the balance of power across Rozellia. This is an opportunity to reshape the realm to our benefit. We must be strategic.
It's a target on our backs is what it is. There'll be no peace for us so long as we hold them.
Hyzant will set upon us with a fury we've never known if they hear of this.
She's right. They will stop at nothing to defend their faith.
Nor will Esfrost go quietly into the night.
Then let us prepare for when word does spread, rather than fret over how long we can keep the secret. Whether we protect the salt as ours or find another way to use it, we must act soon.
What say you, Your Majesty?
We find ourselves at a crossroads. Not just as a kingdom, but an entire realm. Our decision will touch every life in Rozellia. I too wish to act quickly. But I beg you all for a moment alone with my thoughts.
Your caution is admirable, but ill-advised. Hesitation could cost us everything.
That much is obvious. Yet I cannot race headlong into the unknown when so much depends upon us.
Benedict, I find myself unmoored as well. I wish to hear from all present before we decide upon a course of action.
As you wish. Pray let it be swift.
Serenoa, answer me this. Can I count on you to walk the path with me, whatever it may be?
I was named Lord of House Wolffort long before I was inducted into the Saintly Seven. And I've been your friend even longer still.
Say no more. Take the others to Castle Wolffort and await my word. Likewise, inform me of any movements from Hyzant.
As you wish. Until we meet again.
Ok, donc bon, pour l'instant, pas de changement. Par contre, donc effectivement, je vais peut-être faire un petit point campagne. Donc vous voyez, j'ai quand même pas mal de thunes, etc. Je vais vous montrer vite fait mes unités. Vous allez voir qu'il y a un petit peu des nouveautés. Et normalement, attention, ça va faire un choc. Sir Maxwell. Donc je crois que pour avoir Maxwell, il faut dépasser les 2000 en pragmatisme. Et donc on apprend comment il a survécu. Donc effectivement, il était à deux doigts de la mort, mais il a survécu grâce aux Rozelliens justement. Et il avait perdu la mémoire. En fait, le choc avait été tellement violent qu'il avait perdu la mémoire. Et en fait, au fur et à mesure de nos exploits, il a entendu parler de nous. Et en fait, ça lui a permis de retrouver la mémoire. Alors, petite déception, c'est quand on le retrouve. Je m'attendais à ce qu'il y ait un truc avec Roland, mais il s'est rien passé avec Roland, c'est surtout avec Serenor. Mais en tout cas, on a Maxwell, et c'est littéralement le meilleur lancier du jeu. J'ai pas redébloqué sa meilleure capacité pour l'instant, mais je l'ai récupéré niveau 47. Et autant vous dire, il est balèze. Un petit peu lent, mais il est ultra fort. Il tape super fort. Et sinon, j'ai eu la lutteuse Groma. Donc ça c'est pareil, il faut débloquer un peu plus en liberté, je crois. Également le géologue, enfin la géologue. Et donc ça c'est ces informations-là. J'ai eu également Quog, je sais pas comment on dit. C'est un mage assez puissant aussi. Et donc oui, ce sont des unités. L'avantage c'est que là, du gameplay, vous pouvez savoir ce qui vous manque pour les recruter. Vous avez une option qui se débloque à partir du chapitre 5, je crois, dans le campement avec Archipel, justement. Et vous pouvez voir ce qui vous manque pour débloquer telle ou telle unité. Donc voilà, et donc ouais, j'ai eu Maxwell, donc qui est niveau 47. Je crois que le niveau max c'est 50, je suis pas sûr. Je crois que le niveau max c'est 50. Et autant vous dire que j'ai quand même pas mal farmé avec les nouvelles quêtes, parce qu'il y a pas mal de quêtes secondaires qui arrivent en plus. Mais voilà, c'était petit point unité. Et donc on va refaire les dialogues, on sait jamais, il y a peut-être des nouvelles choses. En vrai, j'y crois pas trop, mais bon. Au pire, vous aurez le timecode si jamais vous voulez passer.
Ah, Milo has sent a dispatch from Glenbrook. Deep within the Grand Rozellian mines lies... It would seem salt crystals were found within.
Impossible!
The discovery of salt outside the source explains Gustadolf's recent provocations.
How can you be so calm? The teachings tell us that salt is a blessing, bestowed only upon the goddess's followers. The discovery of these salt crystals is an existential threat to Hyzant.
Salt crystals are salt too. We need only keep word of this discovery from spreading.
Of course. But how?
The Hierophant has spoken. Minister Exham, you shall raise an army and seize the Grand Rozellian mines in Hyzant's name.
The Hierophant asks us to invade Glenbrook?
Do you have another way to silence King Roland and his royal hounds in House Wolffort?
Minister Serenoa is one of us, and thus is honor-bound to heed the Hierophant's word. But we know not if he will do so, or if he will cast his lot with his precious king. You shall ask him yourself when you surround Castle Wolffort en route to the mine.
And if he resists?
You are free to deal with him, as we do with all who forsake the goddess.
Bon, pas de nouveauté dans les dialogues non plus. La porte des deux sentiers, peut-être qu'il peut y avoir du changement. Puisque cette fois-ci, Svarog est au courant que... Enfin, on est ses alliés, quoi.
I am gladdened to see each and every one of you, my ironclad brothers in arms, here at Twinsgate. I have asked you here to tell you of a most fortuitous discovery. We have found crystals of salt deep in the Grand Rozellian mines. Alas, Glenbrook has taken those very mines from us. What's worse, Glenbrook's esteemed House Wolffort is led by one of the saintly seven of Hyzant. They will no doubt be informed of the salt crystals, and their precious religion will be shaken to its core. I trust you can all imagine how Hyzant will respond to such an affront. They will not go quietly, but will instead seek the crystals for themselves, that their reign of terror may continue unimpeded. Therefore, we must subdue Glenbrook and seize the mines for Esfrost if we are to counter this grave threat. But we cannot stop there.
for that will only draw Hyzant to our gates. They will stop at nothing to conquer all of Norzellia in their name. The duchy has never been in a more precarious position. But we will not yield. We subscribe to no faith, and we bend the knee for no king. We shall greet our enemies at Twinsgate with cold, hard steel. Our newest weapon, the Death Knell, is nearly complete. With it, we shall strike back at Hyzant. The false goddess shall crumble beneath the sheer force of our iron will, and Hyzant reduced to rubble along with her. Raise your swords, my black iron heroes. Your names shall be cast in iron when the histories of this day are written. You shall be known as the defenders of Esfrost. For Esfrost!
Oh yes. The Death Snare will reduce many a falsehood to rubble, dear Gustadolf.
Ah, je crois pas qu'il dit exactement la même chose. Ah, bah là, il est conscient qu'il y a eu des mensonges, donc non, non, ça, légèrement différent. Légèrement différent au niveau de Zorog.
Have you heard the popular rumor, Lord Claris?
That Hyzant intends to raise an army against Glenbrook? Yes, I am familiar.
So it's reached the consortium then. Is it true?
King Roland has only just reclaimed the Crown City with Hyzant's help, not to mention restored relations with them. Ordinarily, such a thing would be unthinkable, but the rumors are so persistent that I think something may be afoot.
For example?
I wouldn't be so restless if I had an example to give.
Esfrost gathers its troops at Twinsgate. Might they have heard the rumors as well?
Perhaps. A battle for the very soul of Norzellia may loom on the horizon. But therein lies the opportunity for merchants like us. You can't wage war without a surfeit of supplies.
You're quite right about that.
And each shift in Norzellia's power balance opens new business opportunities.
Will the consortium continue trading with Hyzant?
'Tis difficult to say. I believe House Wolffort's actions from here on will be key to the consortium's decision.
House Wolffort, you say?
Indeed. They've been involved in most every conflict between the three nations on this continent. Why stop now? I shall wait and see how Lord Serenoa responds first, lest I make any hasty decisions.
Hyzant has learned of the salt crystals. Minister Exham of the Saintly Seven wastes no time in mustering his army, which now marches on the Grand Nozellian mines. Elsewhere, Gustadolf amasses his own forces at Twinsgate in anticipation of the war to come. All eyes are on Glenbrook, where Roland and Serenoa's pronouncement could touch off a battle for the soul of Norzellia. After much deliberation, Roland makes his way to Castle Wolffort to inform Serenoa of the decision that now weighs heavy on his heart.
Ok. Bah écoutez. Roland en visite chez Wolffort se confie à Serenoa. Alors là, on va avoir les trois qui vont venir se confier à nous. Donc on va voir s'il y a des changements, même si j'y crois pas trop. Donc on sait que Roland veut
I
mettre en
appreciate you
place
coming all this way, Roland.
la politique disante.
So it is only natural I make the journey. I wish to tell you that I finally made up my mind.
And I would hear your decision if you were willing to share it with me.
I've long pondered over the one thing that Norzellia needs most. I thought back on the Salt Iron War. 30 years have passed, yet the root of our conflict remains the same. Each nation still thinks only of itself, wishing to fill its coffers even at the expense of others. But who bears the brunt of such a war?
The people.
Exactly so. The avarice of the ruler is an existential threat to their loyal subjects.
And yet without that wealth, the people suffer just as much. They languish in poverty.
This much is obvious. But there can be no winner without a loser. Remove one and you necessarily remove the other. If we achieve equality, we achieve peace.
And how do you propose we achieve? No. No, surely you don't mean...
Yes. The goddess's teachings. All can live as equals under the goddess. An authority greater than any king. The model nation was in front of us all along, Serenoa. The holy state of Hyzant. I have decided that we must give the salt crystals in the Grand Norzellian mines to Hyzant.
And in so doing, you'll give them control of all Norzellia.
Exactly. There will be no more squabbling over salt. Norzellia will know eternal peace at last.
Unequal peace, surely. One built on the backs of a people like the Roselle, if not the Roselle themselves.
I am not blind to that fact. But so few will suffer for the good of so many. Nothing in this world is perfect, Serenoa. The sacrifice of the few for the good of the many. It's the only clear answer, and one I would give every time I were asked.
Submitting to the goddess will rob you of your kingship.
So be it. My crown, my pride. They're but small prices to pay for peace.
You are truly prepared to throw it all away.
Join me, Serenoa. Let us unite Norzellia under the holy state.
Roland, this is quite sudden.
I understand. Pray, take all the time you need. I expect Frederica will want nothing to do with this plan, seeing as it forsakes her people. I am already mourning the rift this may cause between you, but I shall not be swayed. This will be my final act as Glenbrook's king.
Donc le point de vue de Frederica que nous vous avons suivi, évidemment si vous avez suivi les épisodes, vous êtes au courant. Pas forcément le meilleur choix, mais j'ai l'impression que peu importe les choix que tu fais, tu auras toujours un petit goût amer quand même.
Pray tell, what do you intend to do about the salt crystals?
In truth, I cannot decide. Salt is too precious to be hoarded. We've a duty to share it with the people, which is...
Where the difficulty lies, yes. The source makes that all too clear. Salt lies at the heart of every war in Norzellia.
Would that the boundless salted sea of Rosellan legend still existed. We'd have no need of conflict if there were a source of salt for all.
My love, if I may, the discovery of the salt crystals has made two things plain to me. The first is that my mother spoke true in the legend she passed on to me.
And the other is that the goddess's teachings are nothing more than a lie built to constrain your people.
Just so. We are guilty of nothing. Yet the Roselle languish in the source, where they are looked down upon and forced to work until they die. Entire generations lost, countless lives given to Hyzant's cruelty. cruelty created to justify Hyzant's own avarice and lust for power.
Such is the ugly lie at the heart of their teachings.
One revealed by a crystal of the mineral they hold so dear. The time has come, Serenoa. The Roselle must be freed. The salt crystals have brought us to the brink of war. We can harness this unrest, incite the Roselle to rise up and rebel against their captors.
I am with you. Believe me, I am. But you make it sound so...
Simple. Yes, I know. But the suffering of my people is so distant for everyone else. We can no longer wait for someone to do the right thing. Help isn't coming. Why else would my own mother incite rebellion? We are alone.
I swear to you, none of this feels distant to me. The Roselle live in my domain. I am betrothed to you, my dear. It couldn't feel any closer.
And I thank the stars that I have you by my side. I do. In truth, that's why I think this time will be different. Why I'll be able to accomplish what my mother could not.
I agree. But the risk is immense. Suppose we succeed, what then? Hyzant will not let us go quietly.
Of course not.
And when that time comes, you can lead the Roselle to Centralia, just as your mother wrote about in the book she left behind. Beyond the Great Falls in the Folk's domain at the end of the Norzellia River. The ancestral home of the Roselle.
But that's just a legend.
We've already found one legend to be rooted in truth. Perhaps this one is as well. And if not, at least you'll be safe from harm.
I doubt Benedict will share our feelings, though. Abandoning all we've built to embark on a journey fraught with danger in search of a legend. Yet no matter how perilous the path ahead, I would happily walk it at your side.
I trust you understand what a monumental effect the discovery of these salt crystals will have on Norzellia's history. Whatever course of action we choose will determine whether House Wolffort leaves a legacy in that history, or is expunged from it.
How would you proceed, Benedict?
I would do all I could to keep it from falling into Hyzant's hands. They already control the source. With the crystals in hand, they will solidify their grip on the realm and in time dominate it. The siren song of a false equality under their goddess shall blanket the land, claiming every domain and its people.
Even though they count me among the Saintly Seven?
Even then, for that matters little when the equality they espouse is dictated by the goddess, or should I say, the Hierophant. In the end, they will have the same life and death control over all Norzellia that they now hold over the Roselle.
And our wounds from the battle with Esfrost have only begun to heal. Hyzant will destroy us if we wage war against them in our current state.
But they stand little chance against us if we ally with Esfrost.
Ally with Esfrost? Are you of sound mind, Benedict?
Quite. Think about it for a moment. Esfrost wants nothing more than to loosen Hyzant's grip. They will go to war if it means control of the salt crystals.
Our interests are broadly aligned, yes, but...
Esfrost has been building toward precisely that purpose for some time now.
You speak of the Death Knell, the weapon that Cordelia mentioned.
Precisely. A weapon capable of reducing the goddess's shield to rubble, leaving Hyzant's capital ripe for the taking. Without that weapon, we cannot win. You need only say the word, and I shall convince Esfrost to join our side.
I appreciate your candor, Benedict, and I do not doubt you could secure Esfrost's cooperation. But I fear the harder fight is within our own domain. King Roland's heart will not be easily won.
I bid you listen closely and calmly to what I'm about to ask.
From whence this somber tone?
Do you believe King Roland is fit to rule?
What are you implying?
Decorum is of little use when the fate of our realm is at stake, Lord Serenoa. Are you content to spend the rest of your life in servitude to another?
Not another word, Benedict. Roland is more than my king. He is my friend.
And you are Lord of House Wolffort, whose military prowess is known to all Norzellia. Not the guard dog of Glenbrook and Hyzant. What else are you here to do, if not to protect your house and keep its banner aloft? But you have the potential for so much more. All Norzellia could be yours if you but desired it.
Treason, if not outright regicide. These are your suggestions.
Of course not. The blood in your veins and the royal family's ring are claim enough to the throne. There is no need for violence.
I told you not to speak of that again.
But you did not tell me to forget. The time to reckon with your lineage draws near. You must make a...
I've heard enough. Leave me.
Just know that I will do anything you ask of me, Lord Serenoa. I pray that you make the right choice, not only for House Wolffort, but for yourself.
Bon, bah, pas trop de changements non plus. Le jeu va nous dire attention, c'est l'heure fatidique. Bon, bah écoutez, je vais peut-être faire un petit truc avant, c'est que je vais aller voir si je n'ai pas débloqué par hasard de nouvelles quêtes secondaires. Et on se retrouve tout de suite pour le choix et voir si on a bien débloqué la suite. A tout de suite. Et bon, du coup, j'ai fait une petite mission. J'en ai profité pour acheter pas mal de choses aussi, puisqu'on était pété de thunes et que la mission redonnait beaucoup de thunes aussi. Et donc, j'ai une nouvelle intrigue de personnage, et il s'agit de Maxwell, tout simplement. Donc, Maxwell, enfin un visage découvert, est prêt à emprunter un nouveau chemin et parle à Huguette de son passé.
That you would return to us hale and whole. 'Tis a much-needed fortune in these trying times.
With luck, soon my return will not be the only cause for celebration. I am glad to see you unharmed, Huguette. I would choose none but you to stand by Prince Roland's side in my absence.
Thank you. However, I am afraid I have far to go before I can measure up to your legend. A legend that seems to have begun a new chapter, now that you have doffed that mask of yours. Forgive me for prying, but I must ask, why did you wear it for so long?
Truth be told, I have not thought upon those reasons for some time. When I served Glenbrook as its Master of Swords, I did not wear it.
You were Master of Swords? The Dawn Spear?
Indeed. My star was rising, and I was tasked with investigating a group of nobles who were dealing in stolen works of art. A simple assignment, or so I thought. I was yet young and unaware of the pettiness of those who consider themselves to be our betters. I apprehended several of the criminals, but one escaped. That was my grave mistake. In shadows, they harbored their grudges until they exacted their revenge. But the life they took was not mine. It was my love's, the woman to whom I had promised my future.
What? I never knew.
The villain was eventually brought to justice, but no sentence could bring back what had been stolen from me. Had I only been more thorough, and not been so naive, then she would still be.
Sir Maxwell, there is no way you could have known. The blame falls not on you.
Nay, my inexperience sowed the seeds, and I will reap their bitter fruit until the day I die. I swore I would never again allow someone I loved to come to harm. To ensure that, I had to discard who I was. I gave up my title as Master of Swords, hid my true face behind a mask. I spoke only with my spear.
And you were reborn as Glenbrook's fiercest warrior, the Dawnspear. Your feat surpassed the imagination of even the most silver-tongued of bards. Forgive me. I still tend to get lost in the stories, even though you are standing here before me.
No, I should thank you. There are few who would understand my struggles, but I believe you are one. House Wolffort has seen its share of misfortunes. That you all still walk with your heads held high is an inspiration to all. I was brought back from the brink of death to fight by your side, to face the dangers ahead undaunted and unhidden. I may owe fate for my return, but I shall fight tooth and nail before it takes aught from me again. At least such are the things I tell myself in my quiet moments. I only pray the words can give me strength when it matters most.
They will. No doubt you are stronger now than you have ever been.
Thank you. I no longer need to hide in fear. I will not look away.
Ah, pas cool, pas cool, pas cool, pas cool. C'est triste. Bon, nous allons voir si effectivement nous avons un nouveau choix. L'heure de la plus grande décision de la balance de conviction A. À partir de ce point, l'histoire peut évoluer dans des directions radicalement différentes et donc recommandé de sauvegarder. On va faire une sauvegarde. Ouais. Nous allons voir si une nouvelle voie s'offre à nous.
You are certain Hyzan's army marches for the Grand Rozellian mines?
There is no doubt.
They've heard word of the crystals.
It was only a matter of time. We knew this.
Esfrost's army gathers at Twinsgate as well.
War's breaking out over this thing, and we've got to be ready.
How will Glenbrook respond, King Roland?
There's no need to prepare for war. I have decided that we will surrender the salt crystals to the holy state of Hyzant.
What?
Furthermore, I hereby declare that the kingdom of Glenbrook and its people shall submit to the goddess and her teachings. There is no way to bring happiness to all Norzellia with the salt crystals, which is why I have chosen a path that will allow the greatest number of people to live in equality and harmony.
How could you? Do you not see that Hyzant's dominion over Norzellia's salt is why we are in conflict already? Is the suffering of the Roselle not proof enough that the goddess's vaunted equality is a lie?
She speaks the truth, my king. Handing over the salt crystals is tantamount to giving Hyzant's goddess free reign of Norzellia. Will you so readily surrender the realm to the Hierophant?
I acknowledge the abdication of my kingdom and kingship alike. A small price to pay in my eyes, in exchange for the security and prosperity of the many.
And the sacrifice of the Roselle, is that a small price to you?
It is.
How could you say such a thing to my face?
I, for one, oppose. I would prefer to ally with Esfrost and strike back at Hyzant. The salt deposits within the mines give us the leverage we need to convince Gustadolf to join us.
Ally with Esfrost? You dare suggest we ally with the man who murdered my father?
I see no reason why we should not. You proposed abdicating the throne for the sake of the kingdom and its people. So you should have no trouble putting aside your own feelings and judging this matter dispassionately.
I cannot believe my own ears. I will not have you lecture me on feelings when it is not your father he murdered.
None of you can see beyond your own grievances. It's no wonder my people have suffered for generations. We're told to believe in the goddess, while our own lives are thrown away to make a few more grains of your precious salt. And now, even with proof that the goddess is a lie, you would watch us dig our own graves for your comfort.
Lady Frederica, please. We shall speak of the Roselle in due time.
No, I've heard that before. Your due time is never, and I will not have you cast us aside for another 3 decades or more. All else is in disarray. If Hyzant seizes the salt crystals, we forfeit the best opportunity in decades to free my people. We know the truth. We must act upon it. We must be a light in the darkness.
We cannot afford to dilute our forces when the enemy marches on us as we speak.
So we are a distraction to you?
I am merely being rational. Liberating the Roselle would be extremely dangerous. We cannot take such a risk. Suppose we succeed. How do you propose we fend off the fury Hyzant will rain down upon us?
Esfrost would pounce on us, sensing weakness at the undue burden we've taken upon ourselves.
Precisely. We would be without allies and ripe for the taking.
There is another way.
And what, pray tell, would that be?
We set out alongside the Roselle in search of Centralia.
Centralia is a myth.
The legends of my people are true.
I care not one whit if they are. I will hear no talk of forsaking the Wolffort domain.
Silence! I have heard enough to know where each of you stand. Do you all hold the courage of your own convictions?
I do.
Nothing I've heard here has swayed me.
I feel the same.
Very well. I would ask for some time to think on the matter.
Ah, attendez, c'est différent là. Ouh, oui, c'est bien différent. Ok.
I understand each of you keenly, my friends. You have not arrived at these decisions lightly, and I do not doubt your convictions. Yet choosing any of the options before me risks creating a schism among the others. I cannot afford to lose any of you. Not after how far we've come. Which leaves me only one option.
Ah, donc si on décide de faire la balance des convictions, je pense que on repart sur les 3 fins de base. Il doit y avoir une autre voie. Yes, c'est ce qu'on voulait.
Nay, I mustn't give in so readily. There must be another way. One that will bind us together, not tear us asunder. Now then, to find it. Certainties first. We cannot afford to relinquish control of the salt crystals to any one nation. Salt necessarily belongs to the people, and on that point I shall not waver. There must be a way to bring about the lasting peace Roland desires without the need for Hyzant's warped teachings. Hyzant moves to take the Grand Rozellian mines as I contemplate this. It must be stopped. They will no doubt make an ostentatious show of power in an attempt to intimidate us. What's worse, they'll soon be at our door, and we'll not defeat them with our army alone. Surely there's a way we can hold them off.
Wouah, t'es sérieux? J'en sais rien. Intercepter les forces de synthèse avec les pièges disséminés dans le bourg. Bah non, on n'est pas pour. Après, utiliser le fleuve pour les inonder. Oh ouais.
Fine idea, had I thought of it sooner.
Ah mince.
We've no time for such complicated tactics. As fanciful a notion as I've ever had. Who ever heard of an art?
Bon, c'est bien, comme ça je fais tous les choix, vous voyez. Donc c'est intercepter les forces de synthèse avec les pièges disséminés. Oh, bah oui, et comme on les a pas utilisés contre Livrer, on les utilise contre les...
The wildfire, of course.
Wow, on les utilise contre les Ants.
And set the vast majority of their forces alight.
Ok, donc on refait le match, mais contre les Isantais.
The Hierophant will never relent, however. Hyzant will bear down on us with the full force of their army. We've no chance of winning a protracted war. Hyzant must fall, and quickly. We need Esfrost. We need the Death's Knell. 'Tis the only way we'll pierce the goddess's shield.
Ah, on utilise...
I hardly relish the thought of asking Gustadolf to come to our aid. He'll no doubt demand the salt crystals in return. Who might help us get our hands on that weapon?
Bah, là c'est simple. Svarog, simplement.
Lord Svarog, yes. He swore to fight alongside us. It's time he made good on his word. We share a common enemy in Gustadolf. He'll be a boon. There is still the matter of how we invade Hyzant and incite the Roselle to rebel.
Si nous exposions ce qui se cache dans la statue de la déesse de la source, essayons de faire entendre la vérité au peuple isantais. On pourrait s'infiltrer dans le palais et assassiner l'oracle.
Utter fantasy. Suppose we do gain entry. How are we to assassinate the Hierophant whom we've never laid eyes on?
Pas cool. Ah bah oui, parce que là on a... Oui, ok, bon, ça revient un peu ce qu'on avait fait.
Yes! We'll blast away the statue and reveal Hyzant's lies for all to see. If the Rozellian legends are true, an enormous pillar of salt rests within the goddess's statue. Revealing that will prove that the Roselle spoke truth all these years. Goddess and Hierophant alike will lose all claim to authority, leaving them open to a revolt from a united Roselle. And now we have the means to make the explosives that will bring Hyzant to its knees. Just one problem remains. How will we manage to pass through the goddess's shield? No banner could pass into Hyzant without arousing suspicion.
Bah là du coup on sait. Le fait d'avoir déjà fini le jeu, bah il y a la firme norzélienne, ouais. Il n'y a pas 36 solutions, parce que la bande de Travis... Ah, je vais quand même voir ce qu'il dit si on lui dit la bande de Travis.
Travis's crew may well have the means to slip through the goddess's shield.
Ok. Les Rozelliens, bah ils pourraient aussi, mais je suis pas sûr qu'ils soient prêts. Non, on va faire Rozelliens, c'est bien. Avec Clarus.
Unless they've no banner at all. The consort, one glimpse of the salt crystals ought to bring Clarus to the table. So long as I play to his self-interest, the rest will follow. I have it. I've found a way to give everyone what they want most in one fell swoop. The people of Norzellia will finally be lords and ladies of their own making. Masters of their own destinies. Benedict's fervent desire to protect the domain's integrity. Roland's yearning for equity. Frederica's resolve to free her people. I hear you all, my friends. You're not alone. Nor are the countless others who look to me at this late hour. If ever there were a time to heed my father's last words, it is now. I must forge my own path and lead my people. the scales cannot save us this time. The words of my closest confidants have revealed a way forward that the scales never could. All that remains is to convince them to follow me down the path I have made. As Lord of House Wolffort, I solemnly swear an oath by which all future lords shall be bound.
Yeah.
I will never turn my back on the promise of a better world.
Yeah. Eh ben écoutez, c'est parti pour la suite, hein. Cool, 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 cool. Alors, je vais voir si je peux changer la difficulté, parce qu'en très facile, ça, on va un peu s'ennuyer, je pense, pour les combats, mais bon. C'est parti pour la suite.
Thus did Serenoa ascertain the Scale's true purpose. Taking up the mantle of his late father, Lord Simone, and the ill-fated Dragan, Serenoa returns to present his allies with a bold new vision for Nozellia's future.
Chapitre 17, acte 2, Seul qui connaît la tristesse. Et ouais, ça change du coup. Bon, vos choix c'est de la merde. Moi je propose ça.
We turn the salt crystals over to no one, but we do not keep them for ourselves. Instead, we distribute them equally to every person across Norzellia and change the face of the continent.
Do you hear yourself?
Do you mean this sincerely, Serenoa?
What of the Roselle?
I speak my conscience, and I promise I have not forgotten the Roselle. Pray, grant me the time to explain my strategy. We must put an end to the teachings if we are to release the salt to all Norzellians. Which is to say, the holy state of Hyzant must fall.
So we are to take up Benedict's proposal?
No. I propose we attack on 3 separate fronts.
At the same time?
We will use our domain's wildfire to prevent Hyzant from capturing the mines. Meanwhile, I wish to negotiate an accord with Esfrost that affords us use of the death snell. I know full well the risks involved. However, I believe we can convince Svarog, who opposes the Archduke, that an alliance is worthwhile. Finally, we expose the falsehoods that prop up Hyzant's precious teachings and incite another Rozellian uprising. In one fell swoop, we can abase the Hierophant and throw the capital into chaos. That accomplished, we shall sack the Holy State with Esfrost at our side. With both the source and the crystals in our possession, no one in Norzellia will ever want for salt. We can bring peace, equity, and stability to all Norzellia, just as Roland envisioned. We can restore the Wolffort name to its former glory and usher it into a new era, as Benedict desires. An era, my dear Frederica, in which the Roselle shall be free once and for all. What I ask may sound impossible, but we have survived long odds before. Let us cling together and do so once again. Do any present have objections to the path I have set before us?
None for me, lad. You've quickened the very blood in my veins.
Yeah!
Permit me to speak plainly, Your Majesty. I am in agreement with Lord Serenoa.
We cannot dream our desires into reality. Some things must be fought for and won.
We've tried your way, Benedict. It's time we tried something new.
What say you three?
I am ashamed to admit that my obsession with the domain's safety may have blinded me to more aggressive solutions. Your plan is audacious, perhaps even reckless, but it is not impossible, and may well be worth the risk. House Wolffort is better for having you at its helm, Lord Serenor.
The fate of my people always felt so small compared to the war raging around us. Yet you would still choose to walk a dangerous path, rather than cast the Roselle aside. It would be my honor to fight alongside you, and see this through.
I honestly thought Hyzanth would rule better than I could. That they would bring prosperity to Norzellia. I shrank from my duties and lost myself to the idea of revenge upon Gustadolf. I may well have betrayed my own kingdom. But you, Serenoa, opened my eyes to the truth. And for you, my friend, as King of Glenbrook, I shall face any enemy and lead our people to glory.
Then we've no need of the scales. Our path is decided. From here on out, we shall split into 3 regiments. Allow me to explain the role each has to play. I pray that clarifies what each regiment needs do. Prolonging the war risks slowly driving the 3 kingdoms to ruin and starving their people in the process. Not to mention, all involved will lose sight of what they were fighting for if they haven't already.
Agreed. 'Tis for the good of all if we bring it to a swift and decisive end.
And so we find ourselves contemplating war on 3 fronts.
Hyzanth and Esfrost aren't expecting such drastic action from us. The element of surprise may deliver us victory.
As will the leader of each regiment involved in this gambit.
I shall lure the Hyzantian army to their doom here at Castle Wolffort.
Svarog knows who I am, and swore he would fight alongside me. I shall depart for Esfrost and hold him to his word.
Pray, let me be the one to journey to Hyzanth. I would love nothing more than to expose their false idol for all to see, and lead my people to rebel in the name of freedom.
Then I shall secure the help of Claris of the Consortium in exchange for information about the salt crystals. He can secret you inside the capital and provide you with explosives enough to fell the goddess. Though we fight on distant fronts, we are bound together in spirit. We fight to the last for Norzellia!
For Norzellia!
Incroyable. Entre-temps.
Oh, yeah! No, it can't be. General Evlora? Of the Esfrosti army?
Former General. I come to you now as a citizen of Norzellia, nothing more. I come to House Wolffort in search of sanctuary. I beg you, have the mercy to take me in.
Wait here.
General Evlora, we thought you missing.
Indeed, it was your actions that caused my brief disappearance, though I bear no grudge for how the battle ended. This time, however, I come to you with a humble request. I wish to join your ranks, if you'll have me.
You wish to defect? To what end?
That we may bring this fraught and fractious chapter of Norzellia's history to a close. I would see those of Lady Cordelia's generation preside over an era of peace and tranquility. You've every right to doubt me when I say Lady Cordelia has touched me. But I swore to be her sword forevermore, not Esfrost's.
We have long been enemies. You've taken much from us in Esfrost's name. I know you to be many things, General Evlora, but a schemer and a liar are not among them. I trust that you speak true, and your talk of a swift end to this conflict appeals to me. We are of the same mind.
My lord.
Nevertheless, it remains bad blood between us. There may be some within our ranks who are less than pleased to see you.
I expect there will be. I understand their hurt, and have made my peace with it. I will suffer their slings and arrows gladly, if it means bringing peace to Norzellia.
I admire your conviction. In truth, we have already arrived at our decision. Your strength is a boon we can neither hope to replicate nor replace. I welcome you, General Aurora, to House Wolffort.
My sword is yours, Lord Serenor.
Laura fait maintenant partie de votre équipe. Oh là là, le combo Maxwell Avlora, incroyable. Combat brutalement en déchiquetant la chair et broyant les os. Ces statistiques augmentent lorsque ses PV sont bas, à des attaques très puissantes qui infligent d'énormes dégâts. Ok. Yes. Ah, c'est bon ça. C'est très très bon ça.
Now, Serenor, let us divide House Wolffort into 3 regiments.
I leave the allocation of forces in your capable hands.
Choose wisely. Once the plan is in motion, we won't have the luxury of adjusting our strategy.
Understood.
Répartissez vos unités dans 3 escouades, sachant que chaque escouade mènera ses propres batailles. Ah et ben là du coup le truc c'est que j'ai pas tout le monde au même niveau. Ah ouais. Ah ouais. La série nord, celle-là elle est pas mal hein. Celle-là elle est pas trop mal. Je vais peut-être mettre... Bénédicte, c'est pour aller où déjà? C'est aller... C'est affronter... Ah, c'est pour affronter... Affronter Exam sur le... Sur le domaine Wolffort, donc on aura peut-être besoin d'un archer, une petite huguette, c'est bien quoi. Les radars c'est bien aussi. Putain, Lionel niveau 17 quoi. Ah ouais non, du coup là c'est vrai que le farm est important en fait. Bon, l'avantage c'est que c'est vite fait rattrapable avec les missions. Au pire je peux pas. Je peux pas du tout. Oh merde. Parce que là l'équipe de Roland à part... Bon il y a Anna, il y a Maxwell, donc ça fait le taf. J'aimerais quand même prendre au cas où. Ouais, on va faire plutôt comme ça. Narv, il est dans quelle escouade là? Narv, il sera avec... Ok. Bon, ça me semble pas trop mal. Les escouades ne pourront pas être modifiées plus tard. Confirmez votre choix. Oui. Son piège, je joue un très facile. Donc... On a Laura, bordel! L'escouade de Bénédicte, élimination de l'armée de Isan.
Hyzant raises their army on the presumption they can seize the Grand Norzellian mines for themselves. The Hierophant has ordered them to destroy House Wolffort as well. We, however, will not yield. The salt crystals are ours, and we will defend them with our lives. Hyzant shall bend the knee at the tip of our blades. Their army may have the advantage of numbers, but even that will mean naught against our wildfire traps. The Hyzantian army blindly obeys the Hierophant. But the Hierophant has no power here. We choose our own path, and we have the courage of our convictions. This battle is but the first step on the path Lord Serenoa has laid before us. Let us take this first step together and rejoice. For Norzellia, now and forever.
L'escouade de Roland attaque sur la porte des 2 sentinelles.
Twins Gate is sealed. Gustadolf hardens his defenses at the encampment within. We will approach the gate and request an audience. We may yet find common ground with Esfrost. The duchy wields the Death Snell, a weapon capable of reducing the goddess's shield surrounding Hyzant to rubble. We need that weapon if we are to break the Holy State's stranglehold on Salt, and thus Norzellia. I know this may feel a betrayal to some of you. Esfrost invaded us. They are the enemy. They murdered my father and brother. And I will never forget nor forgive them for it. But I believe if Father were still here, he would see that I go to Esfrost for the right reasons. That I ask them for aid so that we may thrive. For above all, a king's duty is to his people. And I would sooner cast out the shadows of the past by building a brighter future than lament our lot in life. I ask for your aid in building that bright future. Let us walk the path set before us by Serenoa, and lead Norzellia into a new era of peace and prosperity unlike any we've known.
Et du coup, escouade de Frederica, libération des Rozelliens.
To the plan. We shall slip into the capital of the Holy State, disguised as a band of merchants from the Norzellia Consortium. Lord Claris has taken on no small amount of risk in agreeing to help us gain entry. We are truly in your debt, Lord Claris.
I stand to gain more from a liberated Norzellia, where Hyzant no longer dictates the terms of trade and commerce. In short, spare no extra thoughts for me. This is as much a business consideration as it is helping those in need.
As he says, this is for the future of Norzellia. We now endeavor to destroy the goddess's likeness that serves as a pillar of their teachings. If the Rozellian legends are true, we will find that the statue concealed a massive pillar of salt that was stolen from my people. This salt pillar is incontrovertible proof that the teachings and the goddess around which they are built are lies. The faithful will be shaken to their core, and the Hierophant's power will wane. With luck, we may even show the Roselle they were without fault, inciting them to rise once more and cast off the yoke of their oppressors. This is nothing less than a battle to wrest control of Norzellia from the clutches of a capricious and vengeful goddess. Have you prepared the explosives, Lord Claris?
Prepared and loaded onto a cart, my lady. Enough to bring the goddess back to Earth, I should think.
Excellent. Then let us depart.
You are a marvel, Lady Frederica. A Rozellian with Esfrosti blood, fighting under House Wolffort's banner. Who better than you to challenge Hyzant's tyranny? Do you not feel the weight of destiny upon you?
This is not destiny, Lord Claris. Nothing could be less certain than the moment in which we find ourselves. Serenoa and I have traveled a long, hard road together. It brought us here, but it does not end here. And so we walk on.
Now you seek to fell the goddess. You are possessed of an iron will, if you'll forgive the expression.
I shall take that as a compliment.
Seul qui connaît la tristesse. Donc fin du chapitre 17, version voix nouvelle ère, on va l'appeler comme ça. Donc c'est bon, on est bon là-dessus. Par contre, effectivement, c'est important sur cette run d'avoir quand même farmé un maximum de vos unités. Donc je pense que le jeu vous laissera quand même la possibilité de farmer aussi derrière. Mais là, on part sur 3 nouveaux chapitres, 2 ou 3 nouveaux chapitres encore. Donc je les mettrai à la suite de mon aventure, de ma première fin. C'est Level 29 pour RPG Univers. Je vous dis à très bientôt pour cette fin goldée.